things. So that's what we're talking about. Well-being, celebrating ourselves, relaxing, relating, releasing, being, we have to uplift each other. And that's what we talk about a lot on this podcast. We talk about definitely celebrating the wins. That's something that we oftentimes don't do. So now it's time to relax, relate, release. So we just talked about, being reflective, celebrating things that we have achieved and accomplished. I mean, we have to celebrate the small things. We got to be thankful over small things, so he will make us ruler over many. So we talked earlier also about doing journals with our spouses on the marriage retreat. But I also think that is super healthy for us to do as far as individuals. I am a journaling freak.
Right, and let me stop you right there because I know you're going to go off on this because you are a journaling freak. And Keisha is opening that part of me in order for me to start doing some more journaling because I'm a list maker and my lists are kind of like how I'm able to put thoughts out, but I have recently started journaling more since I've been around you. So just talk about it. You be the expert because I'm sure I saw all that stack of journals that you have. Tell us about like what you do and how it helps you relax.
What's crazy is I actually started just writing in general. I'll never forget, this is a true story. Lord, my cousin Sherry, when I was a little girl, I'm talking 8, okay? She bought me a diary. I still have said diary in this house. Aww. My husband picks at me because an excerpt, then you do not, I don't even want to hear it. Please do not comment. I already know. Wait till you hear it. You're going to have something to say, okay. And I'm going to probably push you out the chair.
Okay, I'm ready.
So,
I'm braced.
One of my entries had me like complaining very rudely about my mama because she wouldn't give me another piece of cornbread.
I have so many things to say. You sound like Miss Missy.
I was so mad because all I wanted was a little piece of cornbread, and she wouldn't give me some more. I had already had some. I wanted seconds.
That's so Southern.
It is. I wanted some cornbread to go with my veggies. And so it's so funny because my husband has actually read that, and he said that my little girl is going to be cussing me out one day about not giving her some bread, and I think it's going to be Brooklyn, if I had to guess. So I'm thinking it's going to be her. But anyway, so I started at the age of 8, like writing in a diary. We weren't calling it journaling back then. So as time went on, I wrote things in that, like for a long time, until I became a teenager. I was writing in that same little journal because it wasn't like I was doing it every day. Right. So then as a teenager, I started writing poetry as a vent. Like I have a big notebook again that I have kept since. I know it's really an obsession, and it's so funny. It's so funny because I'm really only just now reflecting on how much I've used writing as an outlet.
Right, because we're changing.
Yeah.
So why not change with us, guys?
It's crazy. So I have some things in there that was poetry that I wrote about a breakup. And that joker is like 3 pages long, but it's a poem. Aww. And it's called Masquerade Girl. I'm talking about y'all wearing these masks. You fake, honey, you fake. Okay. You're just a liar. So anyway, I wrote, I used to do that as a teenager. I have funny poems, like my sister used to get on my nerves. So instead of being mean to her, I would just write mean poems about her. So it's crazy. Like I've used writing so much. And so I think it was a student actually that suggested that I journal prayers. And so I started, and I'm an ELA teacher, so I taught them writing, and I don't know, I always have like a deep connection with my students. So one day, one of my very close students that I'm very close to, he was just like, Miss Mitchell, I write my prayers down. And I was like, wow, okay, this is the evolution of my journaling. Yeah. So I started writing prayers down. I started writing goals down. I have like combo books where I write some goals, then I write a prayer, then I write some goals, and then I write prayer, and then I write like a game plan of what do I see in my head? What am I feeling at the moment?
Right.
So I write a lot of stuff down, and it's so funny because I know we've mentioned my children's book before, but I found, and I go back through it because I feel I love that part of journaling, going back to see what you have come through.
Okay.
One, I have an excerpt where I was writing, God, please don't let me hate my husband because he's making my baby cry. Well, we were trying to get her to go to sleep in her own room at the time. But it tore me to pieces to hear her screaming and not wanting to lay in her own bed. And my husband was very strong with that, but I did not like him for it. I'm like, I could just have her in here with me, but you're tripping. So you're ripping my child away from me and she's screaming. And it's so funny. Like a year or two later, I looked at it and I was like that tore, like I was in a bad place. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, that was nothing. But at that time, I thought it was something very big. Right. And so I've written my children's book, and I found a journal from like 2013. It was like in the winter, and I had written, Lord, please help me do this. You've told me to do this. Wow. And so when did I do it? 2015? 2016.
16 is when it was already done. So.
Right. So... So I wrote that prayer in 2013. And
so what do you suggest are some takeaways that people who want to start journaling? Like myself, like I know you suggested doing Jesus Always. And I've done that one. I love it in the way that I think Sabrina suggested. Like you write down your prayers and then you listen to what, the word says. So what do you suggest for someone who has never journaled before?
Well, that's a great start. What's funny... Again, you've heard my history of journaling or writing in a diary. And so Sabrina did suggest that I journal or write my prayers down or what's heavy on my heart first before I did my devotionals in the morning. And
hold on. So Sabrina is, because we like to throw people's names in the mix. So Sabrina actually has her own calendar through Sanctuary Girl, which is her business. She's the bomb.
Her ministry.
She is the bomb, y'all. But anyway, so we mentioned Sabrina. Yes. She may be on the show eventually. We try to get her to come on.
Y'all need to hear from her.
So go ahead.
We need to bring her. And she's a big planner. Like hers is a planner. So it's all about writing though. Write the vision, make it plain. Like whether you're talking about the journal, whether you're talking about the planner, it's all about collecting your thoughts. So she suggested that, and she was like, every time I journal first before I read my devotional, just was heavy on my heart. She was like, it almost always answers whatever I wrote.
It's true.
And I was like, that's true. Like magic or something. There's no way. I'm going to try this and see. So I did. I tried it, and whoa. Yeah. Jesus Always is one of my favorite devotionals because it's by Sarah Young, and so I tried it and it really worked. What's heavy on my heart, sometimes it more oftentimes than not, the journal has definitely, the devotional definitely answered whatever was heavy on my heart.
Right. So when you suggested that at our vision board party that we did, then I was like, okay, Amazon, let me go ahead and get this. Yes. And so since then, like I've been like excited to
see what the answer is going to be
and write it out and what's on my heart, and then be able to, and then I will just pull a verse that's from there that really stands out, because they give you verses amongst the instructions or the responses, and then that's the one that I'm, connected to mostly.
The journal is done day by day, so it's dated. I get off sometimes, and this is the other neat part. Girl, I'm all off on these days, honey. I'm not going to pretend like I am dedicated and devoted to daily. And I want to be. Like, that's my goal in life, but sometimes life happens. Right. So why not talk about it? But, I do get off, but that's the thing. Because even when I'm off on my days, it's like I turn to where I need to be. It's amazing. It's definitely God-centered. The lovely thing about this is that it is written in first person, like it's God speaking directly to you. Right. So that, I don't know. I love that because I feel like it makes it so personal. Right. And I feel like he is talking straight to me. And so I really do like that a lot.
And then you, I guess both of us decided to do a vision journal
Right. So we
Instead of
had
a
the vision board party.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so hard to decide because I felt like, oh, boards are pretty. So I actually ended up doing the board. You did the journal, but now I'm doing the board journal combo. So the board for me is a more general overview of what my beliefs are and where where my sights are right now.
Right.
But the journal, my goal for my new journal, my 18th journal,
right.
My goal for that is to write down specific prayers about where I'm asking God to take me.
Mm-hmm. And mine was, I did a scrapbook journal scrapbook board because I felt like there was many pages to it. I didn't want it to be a board. I normally do a vision board, but I felt like there was a lot of details that I wanted to include.
You cannot put those details on the board. That's so true.
And so I thought I would make a page and then do a journal that goes along with that page. So if I want to write about or talk about or plan on one of those pages that I'm, the areas of my life, then that's what I wanted to do with that. But I enjoy doing vision boards and planning and getting people together and think tanking with people.
Yes. And I think, it's definitely a great way to, I'm going to say, release some of those thoughts and ideas. And, I talked to you about listening to the whispers and the nudges. Like, there is a nudging going on inside of you. Like, if you can quiet yourself enough to really hear or see, there's been something on your mind.
Absolutely.
And so journaling, like I know a lot of people say they keep a journal right next to their bed because sometimes it'll hit you in the middle of the night and you just have to wake up and write. And actually that was a testimony from one of the ladies on the marriage retreat. She said that for the Why Did I Get Married segment that we spoke about earlier, she said right after our journaling session that next morning, she felt like she was awakened very early, and she actually got the journal out that we had provided for them. Right. And I think she said she wrote like, what was 10 pages. Yeah. And it was just downloaded into her spirit. Right. So she immediately got her pen and just started writing. So
it was amazing. Yeah. She was able to share that because she was so light.
And she's not a journaler either.
No, she's not. And she was just like, when she was explaining it, you could see the joy just coming from every part of her. And that is so special to be able to recognize when you have introduced something to someone and then they actually it works for them.
Right.
It doesn't work for everyone, but I think it's a good outlet.
And as I've already said, it's not all roses and sunshine and sunflowers. Sorry. Sometimes when you're writing is you're in pain. Yeah. And it's just a way, it's an outlet for you to be able to get your thoughts out and get it out of you and on paper.
Right. So, and now that you're talking, the most journaling that I've done, and this is maybe why I'm a list maker. I think of it more of list maker than journaling, is because I do a thought dump. So you've experienced me in that place of like all over the place. I can't focus. I'm trying to get my team together, trying to get these orders in, all this stuff. And I always so here goes Sabrina again. We'll be talking and she'll be like, it's time for us to do a thought dump. And so we'll just put everything, it could be in a list, in a form, in a bubble, whatever, the thoughts that are going on. And it's not in the form of a prayer. It's just more of a things that I need to do or things that I need to plan for. Because when it's done,
it can be bullets, it can be dashes, it can just be a list, it can be numbered. That's the thing.
So when my mind is done with that, then I feel more clear and I can execute a plan.
And these journals are unwalled. Like seriously, there's no rule. Right. There's no rule. It's whatever type of person you are. If that's a list, great. Do list. Cool. If you're wordy like me, you're going to write it all out. But see, that's what I was telling you. My journals are kind of junky. And I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not turning it in for a grade. Okay. Right. I mean, I know we're educators. We like things to be perfect. And no, that's not what this is. This is a time for you to cleanse and get your thoughts out. Whether that is something that's been bothering you, whether that's something that you just have all these thoughts in your mind, just like you said. It's a way to just get it off of your heart and somewhere on paper. So it does help you focus. It helps you feel cleansed. Absolutely. I mean, I love journaling. I love writing. And I do a combination of both. I do lists and prayers.
And some people do pictures. And I think it is so amazing that, like, I have an art teacher friend, and she does notes with pictures. She does every journaling with, like, that's just, and
whoever you are.